and I'm joined in commentary today by John Macbeth and Barry Lester. John, can you talk us through what game we're going to watch?
Well, this is an 8th round match, so we're getting very near the pointy end of this competition. Tomorrow is the final day, of course. And we're seeing these two men's players, one representing Norfolk Island and the other representing Macau, China. And the man on the left with the familiar uniform of Norfolk Island is Ian Lane. And on the right is Chi Hong Wong, but preferably known as and likes to be called Ronald. So that's comfortable for us, Barry, isn't it?
I can work with that. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, you're right about the uniform. I haven't never been to Norfolk Island, played against them many times, but yeah, it's on the bucket list. But it's great to see players from both sort of ends of the world, and yeah, let's see if they can put on a show for us.
Absolutely, I think they will. And he's Ian Lane is an Australian, and has spent a lot of time. His whole career, I think, was in the Defence Force and or military. And he said, "I'm just after that." He said, "I'm just looking for somewhere quiet to retire to," and that's why he's ended up in Norfolk Island. And he said, "It's paradise. I'm absolutely chuffed with it." So they've got about I don't know, 50 serious bowlers on Norfolk Island. Facilities, they're probably looking here and saying, "Oh, our facilities are average," you know. So
is it the one bowling club?
Yes, yeah, but dependent on the weather, obviously. But if you're a serious bowler anywhere in the world, you take whatever opportunities you can. And Ian Lane is doing that. He said, "Oh, by the way," he said, "most people call me Lois." I thought, Lois Lane. Yeah, Superman's.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good nickname in bowls. I've tried to come up with a few over the years with different players I've played with and against. We've got a young kid, Kane Nelson, coming through the ranks, doing really well, and good young kid, and just made the Australian Jackaroo squad. And we were at the state trials a couple of years ago. You got a nickname, Kane? No. I worked on it, and come up with Sugar Cane. So
Very good.
So we all know him as Sugar now.
Oh.
And I wanted to give him a bit of a shout out. He was kind to me on the BPL commentary the other week where he helped out. He was really good at it and gave me a couple of nice compliments. So hello to Kane Nelson, loves his bowls, and hello to everyone around the world. And
yes,
it's a pleasure to be part of the team today. Thanks for having me, and looking forward to hanging out with you guys for the next sort of 3 or 4 hours.
Well, when you say around the world, the number of in between this game and the previous one, which was Ireland and Canada, the number of comments that were passed through to us as a broadcasting team from both those countries, people from watching it from all over the world, you know, Canadian fans watching it in, as I mentioned, I think Honolulu, but one of the Irish members was overseas in the States somewhere. They were watching it over there, and it's so easy now, isn't it? And it's such a good spread and such good publicity for the game.
Yeah, so true. And yeah, I've been to establishments around Australia that, you know, are so far sort of retracted from bowls, and they've got the bowls on the big screen in there, you know. Yep. So it's great to see, and we're getting more and more bowls on TV. We had a little lull there for a while when some sort of people decide to go different directions, but to see what we're doing now with live streaming and what especially what Bowls Australia and Bowls New Zealand and that are doing, and yeah, you can put it on your big smart TV at home now, and off you go. Put on the surround sound, get the popcorn out.
They usually put us on mute.
So Ronald there, you see, interesting setup, starting the bowl in a real vertical position, touching it on the grass, and then just giving it a little drop, but first bowl straight down the middle of the rink, working so far.
I had a chat to him beforehand, and I said, what do you like to be known as? And he said, why do you ask? And I said, well, you're on the TV rink. No, I'm on rink A1, he said. I said, that's at rink A1 over there. Yes. I said, see the TV cameras? Oh. Oh, okay. I'm not good enough for the TV, he said. But, you know, a charming man. He's just in his early 60s. He's been retired for a couple of years, and he said, it's great that I'm retired. I can now play bowls a lot. The speed of the green he left in Macau, he said 8 seconds.
8.
Yes.
7 or 8 seconds, he said.
Pretty familiar with the greens over there, and yeah, that's pretty good going.
Is it? Yeah.
Very, very different in terms of the surface as well, but just the friction and the feel of delivering a bowl on that versus these firmer surfaces here. But yeah, it's great to see how the players have to combat to the conditions, and we see Lois there. Ian touched the jack for 2. I'm going to go with Penny Lane as well.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Oh, I like that one.
See what the rest of the team can come up with.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite
Songs
songs.
in my head now.
Yeah, well, that's right. It is one of those songs, but
Yeah. Now, mind you, the group that sang it, they'll never be any good.
So can he repeat the dose here, Ian? Try and draw another one for 3.
Started off with a lot of confidence here. A man from Norfolk Island. Oh, very straight on. He's on his back. It must be on his backhand there. There we go.
I think so, yeah. Coming in.
We've got about 3 bowlers in New Zealand, Barry, who are a nightmare to commentate because they line up exactly the same on their forehand and their backhand, and you don't know until they let it go which way is what. Kelvin Scott is one of them. Absolute pain. Great bowler, but very frustrating. And sitting with a good 3.
Yeah, and you love to see it. Everyone go about it their own way and still try to be as effective as they can, but ideally all the constants that are there, you know, the timing, the tempo, the rhythm and all that. As we see a bit of weight from Ronald here, looking for jack movement. He's got all the back stuff. Any jack movement? Well, he's gapped it.
Well, that's an indication of what he's capable of, and I think...
How can you look at that front on view? How do you gap that? Wow.
So his opponent will now know that covering the back might be an idea.
It's frightening. It's frightening when you're playing someone, I suppose, at this World Champion of Champions singles we'll see a lot, because when we play domestically, we often get to know the bowlers and how they play, so you understand sort of what you're going to come up against straight away. A lot of these players wouldn't have played each other before, and when you see your opponent go for a very challenging drive shot on the first end, that'll be in the back of his mind for the rest of the game.
And all the percentages were there. You know, the head presented itself to be attacking.
Yep.
You had the back bowls, but somehow I'm really struggling to believe he found that gap. And you know, I guess with the older drawing bowls back in the day, he probably wouldn't have found it. But the more we go down the narrower path with your equipment, these holes do open up. So. Yeah, very stiff there, Ronald. Any touch of the jack I felt was going to burn the end and score on the respot, but not to be.
I think they're both using XGs. So first play coming in this direction. Looks to be not a bad line here from Lane, Norfolk Island. Well,
started off with a hiss and a roar, hasn't he?
And these two players are towards the bottom of their section, men's section 3. Lee Schreiner, the Australian, is unbeaten. Aidan Takarua, the New Zealander, has dropped 1. That was a feature game against the Australian. The Canadian has dropped 1. And then we've got Spain, Malta, Switzerland, Hungary. And then we've got Norfolk Island and Macau, China, and Japan. So these two are down towards the bottom of their list, and already we've seen that if you're at the bottom of the list and you're playing this sort of quality consistently, the others are playing really well. So here we go with Lane again, deciding on this hand here. Doesn't need to make much of a correction at all, and he hasn't. That's good.
Yeah, it's good shooting early days.
Yeah,
found his rhythm. There's five bowls out of his 7 so far. Very effective. And we see nice and low there from Ronald. Nice balance. Stays down through his follow through. You can see there, watching the bowl finish.
Yeah, he's still down in that delivery position, isn't he? Now just starting to bounce up a wee bit, possibly because he knows that's not far away. Good bowl.
Lovely effort.
Yeah, it's pretty. You see that quite often through the Asian countries. A lot of the players do choose to stay down and watch their bowl down low. And it's funny how a lot of players through different environments do choose to sort of watch other players and sort of do what they do. It's you watch players on TV, especially players that you maybe look up to. You sort of can't help but sort of copy what they do. I'm getting into my golf at the moment. I'm a pretty big Scotty Scheffler fan, but I can't do what he does with his feet. So I'm just choosing to stay away from that. But he's got his own, his own huge variable to what he does, but does it well.
Yes, it's the story of what happens at this end that's really matters, doesn't it?
Can he get the jack?
Jeez, yes.
Oh, that's outstanding. What a bowl that is from the man from Macau. Beautiful shot. Couldn't have played it any better.
So these, looking at the points table now from all the players, all the men have played, everyone's played at least 6 games. So some have played 8. The only unbeaten players are Lewis King and Lee Schreiner in the men and Anne Nunes in the women. So only 3 are unbeaten. So these games are all crunch games for those up higher than the middle of their points table.
See if the forehand holds a little bit like it did in the first match when you go out wide.
Yeah, that's a pretty good lane. It's just going to get back, is it?
Trying.
What an attempt here. Great shot, Ian Lee.
That's very good.
God, how good's the standard in this match? I think it just demonstrates, they're all national champions for a reason, and Ian and the Macau representative may be well down on the ladder, but by day 4, which it is, well and truly are getting used to these greens, and we're seeing some fantastic bowls.
This will be a touch shot if he can sit that last bowl of lanes. I don't know if he's played this hand, but he's judged the line pretty well, hasn't he?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Just needs a bit of finish in this bowl now.
Yeah. Not bad at all. Not too ambitious. Didn't want to give it away, but just showing that he's got a good touch with his draw. He has one shot there. The umpire or marker today is Wendy Sutty. Sutty?
Sutty, yeah.
One it is.
Yeah, good.
So when you said earlier that you're quite familiar with the conditions of in Hong Kong, and mainly Hong Kong, or have you been to Macau?
No, not Macau. No. And we were just looking at the conditions in Macau online there, just seeing the greens. You can see that they're made and produced by the same sort of seed or same style of grass, and it's a real thick leaf, and the bowls, they really sit down in it, and the sort of bottom quarter of a bowl disappears, but that causes the bowls to rock around a little bit, so we see them turtle, so they'll come down and flop against the bias, and having played over there a few times, they don't have pegs, they've got fishing wire down the green as their boundary markers, and not much chalk like you see on our greens here, because of the reason when they mow them, the chalk comes off pretty quickly. Yeah. Just like we witnessed in Birmingham actually at the Commonwealth Games.
Yes.
No chalk on the greens because of the thick leaf, and that's the environments you're in, and it's great to see the variables, but much slower greens, but great culture over there when it comes to the bowls. They're really fanatical about it and love the game, and we saw the Hong Kong Classic recently where you had your New Zealand team over there.
Yes, we did.
Did well.
It's one of those tournaments, isn't it, the Hong Kong Classic, that's been going for decades and has such a good reputation all around the world.
So Ronald did say they've got a couple of live greens over there and one artificial, but he said the condition is probably what you were describing there, Barry.
Yeah,
so it takes some a long time to get to grips with this sort of quality of green.
I don't think Joe Blogg's bowler in New Zealand or Australia, with your slightly slow greens, it's very challenging to explain what it means when we talk about an 8-second green. It's just a totally foreign situation. If you think you've played on a slow green domestically here, like quadruple it, and then add bumps, and you're somewhere close to the conditions.
Yeah, most definitely. A complete different technique, delivery, and approach. But yeah, you can see Ronald, he gets nice and low here. Great balance at setup. And because he stays quite vertical at release, he doesn't get the bowl away as smooth as some. But you can see he still gets away with it quite well. Nice line both times here.
Yeah, that's what I'm liking about him. He's really picking that line quite well. I don't think the greenkeeper will be too concerned about that slight delivery, the little dump.
Yeah.
It's not a dump at all, really. It's just some players can get down nice and low. He just, from his, well, here's a prime example, Ian Lane. Nice smooth out of the hand.
In theory, you'd get punished less on a compacted green like this for a slight dump, wouldn't you, than you would on the slower ones?
And John said it isn't quite a dump because it's being released past vertical. So a dump is when you literally dump it vertical into the ground directly down. So as you see, as he releases the bowl, he's actually dropping it probably somewhere around about 60 degrees out the front. So we watch the release here. So he gets it released out the front, and his arm's probably at 60 degrees at release, which is recommended. So he's actually releasing the bowl from behind versus over the top. And if you do see a bowler, or you are a bowler maybe that are dumping the bowl vertically, just try to release it out the front. That will definitely help. And he gets like you say, he gets rewarded for it.
Yeah.
And he can still get his good touch for it. It's, like you say, John, pretty good standard, really.
I think so, yeah. There'll be people seeing the program come up and say, oh, yeah, Macau against Norfolk. Oh, I'm not sure whether I want to watch that, but it's... I mean, this would be the loosest end we've had, but what we've got is players making good corrections, reading the conditions well.
Needs it to hold just a smidgen.
Oh, a little touch would have been handy. A spectacular day, 20 degrees, hardly any wind. Little switch to the backhand here.
That's a fascinating foot placement.
Yeah, just having his bowl on or over the mat. The conditions of play there, saying that you can use... That's a question I get asked a lot, actually. Do you use the mat?
Oh, hard luck.
Wow.
That was the perfect weight, and he almost...
Hands on hips.
The double teapot.
Yeah.
Yes,
Lots of teapots in Macau, and there's one of them here.
Standing there.
That's a great one. I have a photo of that, please, and send it off. Very unlucky. And Ian Lane was down there and watched that, and he would have known that he was staring down the barrel of not one up, but one down.
Oh, lovely weight it was.
He was all over it.
How's the weight here?
Free kick here. Make the most of it.
Looks pretty good.
Gently.
Oh no, it'll sail past, so just a single.
Let's wait for our marker, Wendy, to confirm that. And it is there. 1 to Ian Lane. 4-1 the score after 3 ends.
Well, for those of you who watched our previous match between Ireland and Canada in the women's, afterwards there were 2 different reactions. The Canadians were really so sympathetic to their player, who had the second set in her grasp and was then undone by really a very lucky bowl from the Irish, who were not really grinning. They just said, that was so unlucky, but it happens, and we've been undone by bowls. Everyone has been, but it was just one of those shots that you think, and what I did was say, well done on not cheering or anything.
That's the key part. You accept the result, but you don't have to celebrate it, do you?
Yeah, the Let Gordon in tennis is the best example, isn't it? You hit the net. You're not obviously aiming for the net, and it flips over the other side, and you score. It's a little gesture, just put your hand up, and Sarah was fantastic the way she reacted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's very professional for her. Very mature approach,
Yeah.
and we don't wish bad luck upon anyone, but sometimes that's what the game presents itself, and there would have been many of this happen to all these players on their journey to get here, and sometimes it's your day, and sometimes it isn't.
Yep.
That bowl just overplayed a little bit.
He gets down nice and low, beautiful delivery, follow through, Ian Lane.
Yeah, he doesn't play all that much outside of Norfolk Island. I don't know whether you've come across him playing in Australia at all, Barry, or you know him from there.
Just a little bit, yeah. Yep. Pretty familiar with the Norfolk Island players.
Yep.
And we always have, over the years, some really good events against them with multi-nations,
Yes.
etc., and Commonwealth Games. Yeah. I haven't been, but I'll definitely make an effort to get there at some stage.
I think so. He said, it's paradise to him. It's quiet. He's got a couple of acres there, and so he enjoys it. He enjoys the quiet life after his time in the military, and it's exactly what he wanted. Well, top shot there, using a bowl that was slightly wide.
Lord Howe Island's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a bowling club there, and not much internet and so on, so it's good to just get over there. But a lot of people do rave about Norfolk and Lord Howe as great places to go and do some fishing and some golf, etc.
Sounds horrible.
It's quite often the case where you're close to a place like that, and you never get to visit it.
That's right.
And yet everyone you talk to says, "Oh, we went there and it was fantastic." There's so many wonderful islands in the Pacific region to take advantage of.
Oh, Niue's one for me. I've played against Niue a few times, and I've always loved to get there. They sell it really well, the Niue players, when you play them over the years. You've got to come over and check it out. So
Yeah.
great shooting from Ronald. Big correction since his first delivery.
After the first bowl went flying into the ditch. That's two lovely bowls.
And that's the beauty of the game of bowls. If there's a club in some of these places, you get to see some beautiful sights.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a sucker for Tasmania. Love it down there, even if it's hot or cold. Beautiful part of the world. Yeah, it's really
Well,
being a country boy, I love getting back to.
Yes,
yeah, where it's nice and quiet.
I was saying the other day that my wife and I went on the Garn train from Adelaide north to Darwin.
Wow.
And a couple that we bumped right from the start, and then found that they were in the next cabin, and then we met them afterwards in Darwin. We're a couple from Tasmania, and they talked us into visiting. We're going to go back and see them next year. But we've got lots of friends who've been to Tasmania. They just rave about it.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit. Kiwis feel at home over there. So drivable. Great accommodation, and they just talked about the friendliness of people.
Oh, the people make it. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'm obviously a former Victorian, now live on the Gold Coast, but lucky to spend a lot of time in Tassie over the years competing, and I do love the vibe down there.
Yep.
Great people, but it's the people that definitely make it, and the culture of Hong Kong China Bowls and playing over there too, and where this gentleman comes from, that area of the world, very hospitable people as well, and competitive. So
Just
line
the weight.
again. Yeah, just the weight.
Beautiful track.
Big chance for 3 there. He'll be annoyed that he didn't capitalise, but he does get 2. And this match is really turning into a beauty.
So his first multiple.
Did you work out what the burning smell was?
Well, I don't think it's the building. So
No.
I only wanted medium well. Alex wanted well done, so I'm a bit confused too.
Yeah.
I just want my peppercorn sauce and.
Okay, mushrooms.
But yeah, there's a bit of smoke coming out of the kitchen there.
Yeah, well,
Hopefully they got it all under control.
it's not coming from the clubhouse, and it's
Well,
not coming from the broadcast computer.
There's a
So
bit of
I-
smoke
I
coming
don't
out of
care.
that jack too. It's scorched into the ditch, did it? Oh no, not quite.
Yeah, no, windy.
Oh yes, it did.
Oh, beautiful delivery there from the marker, Wendy Sutty.
Yeah.
Straight down the line.
Yeah, but will it get back to the bowlers?
Well, that's the question. Yes.
Oh, it did. Okay.
No, it hasn't moved the mat. Sometimes just for the, it's rare to see a misdelivered jack delivered without the mat being moved. But Ian obviously happy with where it's placed and it's just delivered the jack up there. You can see just up from the 2 metre mark.
And Alex, we see quite often too players when they lose the jack, if they have maybe just got a little bit of adrenaline up after their experience of winning the end. So it's very important, just like when you're approaching your bowl, to try and approach the jack the same way. And yeah, if you lose the jack and lose the end, you probably think, well, maybe it was because I lost the jack. So sometimes it's good just to, if you win the end, go back into that reset mode, get your routine for your jack roll as well as your bowl.
It's a good point, because the jack is just as important as the bowl, isn't it? If you get the jack, that's a big advantage to you. If you've settled onto a certain length, or your opponent has, then it's an opportunity to upset. So you want to make sure that it's down that centre line into the length that you want.
Yeah, the other factor is too, you might be playing someone that's quite quick, like an Aaron Wilson, or someone that's quite fast, and you start playing at their speed. So you're rolling the jack quicker, you're rolling your bowl quicker, and you're breaking up your own routine. And I played a game a few years back against Ryan Bester and Steve Glasson, my coach at the time. We had a quick debrief after the game. He said, Barry, as much as you won the game, he said at the various stages there, you could see you were just playing to Ryan's speed, and that's not your game. And so I introduced just throwing the jack up 3 times and catching it before I rolled it, just to reset myself, just to create a little mechanism for that. And by all means, in whatever environment you're in, you've got to control your own. So,
yep.
Solid first 2 bowls here.
Great shooting.
Yeah, we're seeing some classy stuff here from these guys.
Yeah, really good bowls.
Staying on the backhand.
So you said earlier, Alex, that Ian Lane took a set off Lee Schreiner, was that right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
First set out there on B green. So he went to a 3-in tie break.
So Schreiner, one of the 3 unbeaten players going into this round. One more round this afternoon. We'll be showing you another game, and then tomorrow it's 2 quarterfinals, one from the men's, one from the women's. Not in that order, I don't think. And then the 2 finals.
Just asking Wendy for some clarification on where the bowls are in relation to the jack. The 2 bowls of Ian Lane's are short enough that they're not really in the way if you take your green. Just let that bowl come back to the centre line. And they're sitting flat too, or the bowl that he might hit sitting flat, so it's safe enough to stay on that forehand.
Probably weight good enough to count here from Ronald, but just missing high. Maybe that bowl was slightly in his eye. Great band of volunteers around the club. I see since I walked in this morning, people monitoring the car park, people walking around getting stuff done inside the clubhouse. So well on to Browns Bay and the team of volunteers.
Yep, clubs can't do without them. And when you consider that they're not able to use the greens themselves, they're not doing it for themselves, they're doing it for their club. And they are the people. You can see a couple of shirts over the back, white and orange colour, all volunteers here.
Have done a fantastic job. Run a number of big events before the Browns Bay Bowling Club. No stranger to bowls at a high level. Played host as oh, look at that, just around the corner.
That works.
Yep.
Why not? Here's the man in charge, Pete, the president of Browns Bay Bowling Club, and I'm sure he's looking forward to a rest in a couple of days' time when the dust has settled here.
I'd love. I'm just trying to see his watch there. If it monitors the steps, and it's a Rolex. Yeah, I'd love to know the steps he's clocked up this week, Pete.
Oh, he's yeah.
I think he's clocked that he's on the.
Hey, look at him go.
Yeah, Pete Shem, when he sees the camera on him, he starts moving.
Springing a step.
And he's, as president, he's been really energetic at this club, and probably not all the members think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but he does such a good job, and he's so encouraging, and the members, respond to him. To get a group together like this to come in and cook, clean, all that sort of stuff.
Chalk the greens in the morning.
Takes a bit of magic, and he's certainly got that.
This is a 3 here conceded by Ian Lane, so
that little wick on that side bowl that was there tantalisingly, and I'm sure that what Ronald wanted to do was come inside that and settle for another. He got an inside edge or outside edge, I can't remember which, and pushed it in. So he is back in this game well and truly, now in front by 6-4.
2 the difference. I'll just have a look to see whether, just looking at the wind and the jack to be delivered.
Well, it just went down before this game started, and there's a bit of a headwind going in this direction, and certainly a slight tailwind going the other, and that's what the Canadian and Irish players were saying. They just had to remember, the different winds. And then you walk in front of the clubhouse, of course, and there's no breeze.
So back-to-back multiples for Ronald from Macau. He's picked up a 2 on the 4th end and a 3 on the 5th end. 5 shots and 2 ends. And he's...
So sorry, Barry, I was just watching our cameraman twist around then to work out exactly what flag he was on then. I think it was at the corner where these bowlers are now. So a bit of a...
Very handy, the little corner flag.
Yeah.
Because the wind, you see the flags on top of clubhouses and that, and it's like, well, that's not the wind we need to be looking at.
No.
It's the down at ground level. I went to a club not long ago. They had about 20 flag poles. And I said, oh, well, it's good to have 20 flag poles and put 20 flags up, but I don't choose to sort of look at the wind up there. But
no, you don't look up 20 feet up.
Now the comparatively short end here.
Yes, Ian Lane, he's just lost his rhythm here. First couple of ends came out.
Yeah.
75% effective rate, first 2 ends. His last probably 7 or 8 deliveries just haven't been effective.
Conversely, this guy's Ronald's have been pretty effective.
Great home there in the game.
Yeah.
See there the Browns Bay Bowling Club, Bowls New Zealand, Aotearoa and Will Bowls flags flapping in the breeze. And Pete has been the man who's been putting those flags up. Hasn't made one mistake. We're always concerned that perhaps he'll say Bowls New Zealand's in peril and fly the flag upside down, but it's been it's been perfect all week.
That's better there from Lane.
Yeah. So I don't think Ronald needs to switch here. He's got 2 bowls down the middle on his backhand. Just feel the weight. It's always a bit risky switching to a new hand, but see how he goes. And he had to probably take a yard off his previous delivery or a metre, and he would draw the shot.
He's now thinking to himself, why did I change hands?
Yeah, and that's... I'm not quite sure why the majority of us do it, but I think we're always trying to... we're in the pursuit of sort of perfection, and you can clearly see it's still drawable on the backhand. It's just a matter of taking the weight off. But by switching to the forehand, you've got to find the 2 ingredients, a new line and the length.
And then you get into that situation where you're almost playing the bowl and in doubt about,
That's right.
where it's going, what I want to achieve here, and should I be playing this hand? So it's no doubt stepping back off the mat sometimes is a key, and he stood there on the mat for quite a while, just pushing his bowl onto the ground, and so just a little bit unusual. There he goes. He's got good opportunity here, though. There's a 3 on the other hand, isn't there?
It's interesting. It's a bad time to have the loosest end that you've had in a little while with a 2-shot lead going into the last end. So this 4th bowl really important. He's going to persist with the forehand. I fear. No, we're okay.
Yeah, failed experiment, back to the backhand. And those 2 bowls you can see down the middle of that rink, they are effective because they're online. So they might not be close, but they're still effective. And you've got to run with that. Hopefully he can find the weight he needs. Surely he's got the confidence to play a similar line with his first two. A bit under. Has he got some more weight? Oh, he might have backdoored this.
Yep.
Beautiful. Perfect speed. And for one there, I would say.
Close.
It shows the fear of that bowl out to the right. And they look bigger than they are, don't they? You know, and off that would have been fine. You could have wicked it off and used it to just settle him for shot. He might still have it. What do we get any indication from Wendy?
Yeah, I'm on Wendy.
What do you got for us, Wendy? Oh, sitting on the fence.
For goodness sake.
And she knows we'll be saying that too. She would love to have gone in and been definite.
Ian Lane, well, back to the draw here. 3 feet of room. Stalking it.
His weight's okay. He's got this.
That's a lovely bowl.
Doesn't want Jack. He's good. He's left it.
So if it was one before, now it's two. Find out shortly.
Yep. Ian says, I think I've got two here. And Ronald said, well, if you think you've got it, you do the measure.
Let's just have a look at this. So I've just been doing a bit of coaching out on the road this week. And part of your learning, I guess, period of taking up the game is learning how to measure. And he's done that really well. Good stuff, Ian.
So the one there, so 5-6 the score, and we're into the final end of this first set. It's beautiful weather here at the Browns Bay Bowling Club, and the sun is beating down. There are some options for sun protection in bowls, and Max, our cameraman, who you can see on screen, has gone for all 4 of them. There are spalms, a hoodie. So those spalms there that you see, they're available on the Bowls New Zealand online shop. They do a fantastic job. They're comfortable and they stop the sun from going through. I went out in the sun last week and forgot to put sunscreen on, and my arms turned a quite concerning shade. So I'm going to invest in some spalms myself going forward, because it keeps it nice and simple. It doesn't have the oily feel of the sunscreen.
Second jack to be replayed in this game. So each player has done it once.
Won the difference last end. Look, that mat's as far back as it could possibly be.
Yeah, now he's done what you've said, Barry. He's taking his time over the jack, having put one out.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't that slow.
No.
Yeah. Watching it. It's good to watch the jack finish too, feel the weight, identify the length too, and put a number on it if you like. When the jack comes to end, or comes to rest, put a number on it. 27, 28, 29, 30. Recognise the length by number, and then know what delivery is required for that number, just like golf. Unfortunately, we don't have a caddy in singles, but if someone gave you a distance, no doubt it will help you control that distance. Unfortunately, we haven't got someone standing there saying you've got 25 yards to draw this shot. But if you can do your quick math, put a number on things, I really do feel it helps.
They say it when you watch the World Bowls Tour events that are televised for up in the UK. It's announced by the marker, isn't it, where the jack length is?
Yeah, so there's a secondary marker walking down the side of the rink, just off the portable rink, and they're just stepping it out, and they indicate to the players and the crowd what the length of the end is. But in golf, a caddy will say you've got 150 yards. You'll need to know what club and then what you need to do to get to 150 yards. In bowls, we just look up and see a target. But if you can get comfortable putting numbers on things, it's for me, it's a good step in the right direction.
So Ian Lane finds himself one down on this final end. Be hoping that this bowl pulls up about there. That's a very nice shot from Ian.
That's good too for Ronald. He knows that that's half a metre over, and he can sit on that. He can draw that as he goes down to that bowl touch the ground stance that he has. Watches it really closely. No blinking for quite some time.
Nice
Great
line.
weight, yeah. Gee. Well, we got it both right, didn't we?
Yeah.
Nice line, nice weight.
Yeah,
So
it's a good shot.
Yeah.
You know, it's still an effective bowl inside that sort of yard marker, but Ian's got one closer, so he's going to have to get going, Ronald, here. If he wants to try and win the set, sitting as a draw at this stage.
Looks to be a bit of a wider line this time, but they've still been coming in quite away from out there. Not quite that much.
Didn't quite have the running.
Righto, Ronald, what have you got? Well, you're changing hands. Okay.
Well, he's got 2 bowls, I suppose. So
Yeah.
maybe he's thinking, oh, mate, I'll spend 2 bowls on the back end.
Takes that rear foot right back onto the back left corner of the mat, but perfectly legal. If you have, as Barry Lester said, part of 1 foot over the mat when you deliver.
Oh, it's actually gone remarkably well. Bowl. Just navigating outside the shot bowl, the second shot, third shot, fourth shot of Ian Lane's that sits at 2 o'clock to the jack. Would have been a heart and mouth moment there.
Oh, yeah. There was only one way you could drop 2 there, and that was to play the backhand. So, anyway, Ronald might see something we don't see, but for me, it was just drop a yard forehand, perfect line, and yeah, you're right. My heart was sort of in my mouth a little bit for Ronald there, but maybe he was looking to trail the jack or something. I'm not quite sure. But it's a big tactical sport, this. Shot selection's everything.
He stayed down there to watch this last bowl of his opponents. He has the advantage. That is Chi Hong Wong or Ronald. He has the advantage at 6-5. He's hoping that this one doesn't come in for second shot, but it's going to.
That's a beautiful bowl.
Ian Lane, well played.
Outstanding bowl right behind the jack. Is it going to sit down?
I'll put that in your report, Lois.
Yeah, so
I'm sure. I just want it to sit. Someone jump.
So what we've got now is Ronald can see half the left-hand side of that shot bowl.
Got the back
Gets
bowl.
that and takes both out.
We saw Ronald be very aggressive with his
yeah.
last bowl of the first end of the set, so perhaps the last bowl of the last end is similarly so.
Has he got the 2 metre?
He's got the back bowls, and
Okay.
it's more likely to kill than it is to go back with where that
Yeah.
shot bowl is positioned. So I think, based on how he's played, he will probably just give this a hit.
So Ian Lane sitting back on the seat, just nothing much he can do about this now. The outcome is entirely in this right hand of Ronald.
What hand are we going?
Saw him attack earlier, go through the
Yeah.
narrowest of holes. Here he goes again.
Watch for it to come on the screen. It's going to be underneath. There we go.
Whew.
He'll be disappointed with that.
So Lane stands up and will claim at least 2. Finger measure for 3. This says 2. It is. So they agree on 2, and the first set goes the way of Ian Lane of Norfolk Island. He takes that from Chi Hong Wong of Macau. And we start a new game, second set.
It was a very seesawing set. You know, it was anyone's set for that, most of it. Ronald had the best sort of 3 ends in a row. It was looking like he might get a bit of momentum up, and then blinked once or twice, and Ian was able to snatch it back. First set's in the bag now. We move on to the second one, and it all starts again. 7 ends of bowls to go.
Yeah, Ian Lane winning 4 ends out of the 7, picking up a couple of multiples. That 3 on the first end put him in a good position, but then to finish with a multiple always helps as well. He had a couple of ends off through the middle, didn't score on ends 4 and 5, with Ronald picking up a 2 and a 3. We thought maybe Ronald might run away with it then, but good character building moving into the second set from Ian Lane.
One of the things we've spoken about, Barry, is the role of the marker in these events, and they are all umpires here at this event. And I was listening to Steve Sargent brief his players this morning, and one of the challenges we have in New Zealand is we have jack high, jack level and jack low bowls in New Zealand that we talk about, and when we domestically talk about a bowl that's jack high, we mean it's past the jack. When we talk about a bowl that's jack level, it's level, and jack low is low. But the law book, jack high and jack level mean the same thing. So Steve was just clarifying with his players that he wasn't going to talk in high and low. He said, I'll tell you when it's level, and I'll tell you when the bowl is past jack level, and I'll tell you when the bowl is short of jack level. Have you come across any confusions in your career with that sort of stuff, or how does it work?
No, not confusions, but just understand that different countries pronounce it differently. So jack low is a real New Zealand thing. You really rarely hear it anywhere else. So hasn't got a large continuity around the world. So it's usually just jack high or jack level. But jack high usually is the number one way of saying it, or trying to get the message across. So then you got bowl short, bowl behind, or half a bowl short, half a bowl. So but that's what once again makes this game so great. You do hear different examples, like my friend Lauren Dion. I'm sure he'll be tuning in to watch from over in America. Lauren's been a champion bowler out of America for many years, and he'll call a bowl that's in the way maybe a winger. Yeah. So you got to get around or under the winger. So it's it's something that may be in the way, or and then he's iconic with saying a front toucher is a noser.
Okay.
So everyone has their own ways of saying it, but what Lauren likes to do is he likes to either dial in. He likes to dial in when he plays, so he either chooses cellular or Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's representing Cali, and he brings his Cali culture and ways of saying it, California, and it's awesome. So shout out to Lauren Dion. But yeah, I love hearing the different words and different, but all have the same meanings.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the mark as well, I just made sure, I'm sure all of them have briefed the players just to go, well, and often you hear that, how would you like me to indicate the distances? Because some people talk in imperial or metric or use hand signals, but just to get it clear before you play the game.
Feet and inches for me, that'll do.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because, imperial's gone from these sort of countries where we are, and yet players still understand.
It seems to be the bowls talk.
Yeah.
In New Zealand we talk in imperial when it comes to bowls.
I like, and a word we've chatted about, what used often is particularly when the 2 metre mark comes into it. Who's got the backest? Backest is not a word in the English dictionary, but it is a bowls term and everyone understands it. It saves words. Have I got the bowl which is closest to the 2 metre?
Yeah.
You've got the backest. Yeah.
Lovely.
Get it added to the dictionary soon. This is a good end here for Ian Lane because he has covered the 2 and he's got 2 bowls on the
backest.
Yeah. The 2 backest bowls even, John.
Yeah, and a tricky little head for Ronald because there's not really, for me, a target to be going quick at. It's going to be difficult because of the 2 bowls being a fair way apart in length, so I think it's going to have to be a draw, but this is where you've got to look at one of your earlier deliveries. So the bowl over there at around about 2 o'clock, 2:30, it had the potential with another 4 feet of weight to draw the shot, so it's trying to grab the goodness of that, and I think go back to that line and just try and find a couple of feet of weight here. Try and draw this shot. You're
almost thinking if I draw a second shot, it's good fishing here, and
not a mile
anything
away
else
either,
is a bonus.
He's good here. He just needs connection now.
Oh, hard luck. That was a very good attempt.
Same as a previous bowl.
Yeah, so but it's only two in a 7-end game. It's significant, but it could well have been a lot worse. So Ronald tosses the mat.
I think he just tossed the mat onto our camera.
Yeah. Oh, is that what they...
That's okay. It's not an earthquake at Browns Bay. It's just some bloke throwing a mat at a very expensive piece of equipment. I'll calm down in a second. Okay, so it was 2, was it, to Ian Lane after one end.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, when I chatted to Ronald from Macau, China, and informed him that he was going to be on the televised match, he had a look of horror came over his face. And he said, "That's not good for me. I'm not good enough," he basically said.
Oh, he's played good bowls.
He has. He's given us a delightful competition here.
Ian on the back end.
So he switched into this side of the rink quite readily and has played it well. And it does appear as though Ronald's going to use that same line. His last bowl coming this way was pretty effective. Again, see that back foot, only half of it on the corner of the mat, even less now.
Whatever works, I suppose.
Yep. Coming in a long way from out there.
That's a nice bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, really well played there. Happy with that bowl as Ronald.
Yeah, great to see. Fist pump.
Oh,
Good on him.
Emotion's good, eh? You know, we were saying before we started, we had that Trans-Tasman clash yesterday morning, Aidan Takadua and Lee Schreiner, and they both wear their hearts on their sleeves, which is exciting for the spectators and great for a broadcast because you can actually tell if they think the bowl's good when they let it go, and you certainly know when they think it's not as good as it could have been.
So Ronald getting a much better finish. And you wonder too, foot placement, Barry, talk us through that. I mean, that's effective, isn't it now? Because his bowl, even though they're using the same bowls, they're both right-handers, they're both possibly taking the same line, with that place where he's got his feet as opposed to his to Lane. What effect does that have at the other end?
Yeah, so he's using the outside of the mat. He's trying to shut down the angle, so he's getting to the outside of the mat. He's squaring up to his line because he knows if he keeps his feet pointing out off the mat and having his body open to the angle, we're noticing once the bowl gets a little bit high on that hand, it doesn't come back. So both players are choosing to stay quite straight at release and try and fight that angle of that hand. We've seen too many bowls get caught too high and finish too wide. So they're trying to play a bit more of an attacking line, both with their feet angle and their body angle. So you'll see here from Ronald again. So he's starting his feet, what would be probably classified as quite narrow. Oh, then he switches to the forehand.
Yeah.
So as you can see, his feet are opposite now, forehand. This is the wider side. And he's getting a nice open angle on the forehand. And it starts with your feet positioning, and then ideally your sternum and your shoulder placement. So you want to be nice and square to your target. Great switch there from Ronald.
That's a lovely switch, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. I thought he would have just played backhand again, but
I thought so too. But
I was going to say you wouldn't cut. I mean, the percentage, the conventional wisdom in bowls is if you've played a really good first bowl and you know how it feels and the head hasn't changed, you just do it again. But Ronald confident, and look at that, he's played it perfectly.
yeah, very good switch. And he, like I said, with his feet, he opened right up, and he opened up his shoulders. And yeah, it's sometimes when you're playing on certain hands that have got certain characteristics, a lot of it will come down to that setup and the biomechanics.
so facing two shots down here, playing with a little bit of weight to get him up to the shots, just flicks inside.
Something we've seen a lot of too. those types of bowls on a New Zealand green are really challenging to play. That sort of a little bit overweight, you can't really clunk in to heads with a high percent of words. I've lost it. Of effectiveness. Effectiveness is the word I'm looking for. We either draw or drive in New Zealand. The sort of a little reaching bowl, easy to miss, and Ronald unhappy with that. You could see it just. I don't even think you need to see where the bowl's going. It wobbled out of his hand.
He'll be really annoyed at that because he, as you've mentioned, Barry played a bowl coming one way, switched over for some reason, and it worked for him. 2 lovely bowls there, and with an open draw for him, the way he'd been playing, the 3 was on the cards.
Obviously, he should have switched back to the back end.
Yeah, but if we just watch this bowl here get released, he just, I think he just sort of moves too much wrist movement here or too much hand movement. You can see that hand really come across quite severely at release, not getting the bowl away on the centre part of the bowl.
That's a big advantage of what you're doing there, is almost videoing, a player's style, delivery, and all that sort of thing. Analysing is, videoing is so important, isn't it? So, because you don't know what you're doing when you stand on the mat. You've got a fair idea, but then you have a look at yourself and you think, hell, that's totally different.
Yeah, well, you're probably your best critic and worst critic. So, ideally, if you want to take your game to that level, you've got to get on vision. And these days, straight from your phone to your TV, your computer, it's so easy. And I use apps where you can draw over your technique and put lines and things. But yeah, you got to be able to watch your own technique and critique it. And just with that actual movement, then everything was pretty good, right to the point where he just moved his hand across at last minute. So, and a good little way to getting out of that is do it over a real minimal position, making sure you're getting the bowl away nice and smooth, even just 6 feet out from the ditch. Just making sure that release is nice and square. And if you want to go to another level, grab a real old set of bowls out of the shed. The old wide bias bowls.
Yeah.
They're really good to get back to basics with if you're struggling with your technique. And once the narrower bowls these days are more and more prevalent, it can be a little bit tricky to deliver. And the old fat bowls, the old Dunlops I had back in the mid-90s, you couldn't get them away rough. They were that fat.
That's right. Yeah, the running track was 6 inches wide.
Yes. Yeah.
Righto, Ronald, he'd be keen not to let that last bowl of the previous end upset him when he had the chance of grabbing a 3.
So it looks like from the player's end, so you've essentially blocked off the forehand side with those 3 bowls that have cut across the head.
See in the background there, the Chinese player just going through the motions. Look at him even now, it's just slapping his thigh, probably applauding as well the ball that's going down from his opponent. But just giving himself a reminder of what he needs to do here. Get back on track.
On the tight side.
Yeah,
so
short again, isn't he?
Well, the weight's actually worked out
good enough.
Fine.
Yeah,
it just narrow all the way down. One of those bowls, you let it go and you think, well, I need a massive gust of wind or a track that we haven't seen yet.
Well, if he wants a reminder of the green he needs to take, he's getting it here from his opponent.
Nice shot.
Beautiful.
So it's 2, maybe 3.
And again, nothing to hit here for Ronald. It's just about making a correction. Keep the same weight as your previous bowl, but take a little bit more green. Let the bowl come back to the centre line.
Oh, I think he's gone narrow again, hasn't he? Oh, no, he's a bit more green on it this time, but...
It's better line. Has he got the weight this time? He needs to hang around now. Needs to hang around.
Oh,
That helps. Second shot.
the
Yeah.
bowl.
His first effective bowl for the end at least.
Pleased with that. He's essentially prevented a simple 3 for Ian.
Just looking at previous winners, do some big names that have come away with the men's and women's titles, especially a couple of local heroes in Taylor Bruce and Shannon McElroy the last few years. You throw in Joe Edwards, and you go far back as 2007 when Tony Grantham won the men's at Warilla. So some big names featured in this event for many years.
You would have played against Ali Forsyth a bit, eh?
Yes, definitely with and against Ali. We
Yep.
used to be Tarrant Point teammates in the Premier League in Australia, and yeah, great player. And yeah, look at some of those names on that list. Who will be this year's winners?
Yeah. So Lane gets a single and it now leads by 3-2. We've played 3 ends of the second set. The first set going the way of the player from Norfolk Island by 7-6. He needed a couple on that to win it and managed to do so.
Next year we head to Barham in up on the border, Victorian New South Wales border, for the World Champions. Brand new facility there.
Oh, good.
Double indoor roof.
Yep.
So great facilities for these players to come back to next year.
It's exciting. It's been to this event in particular seems to have travelled around to lots of different host nations. Sandra Keith from New Zealand, did she win it in Cyprus?
Cyprus, yeah.
Yeah, you look back through some of the venues, you think, wow, why wasn't that me?
Yeah.
Aberdeen, Scotland, and Ayr, Scotland, back to back. So
Yeah.
good on
To
them.
hell with the bowls. I want to have a holiday either side.
Yeah,
of it.
well, you try to throw in a bit of both when you can.
Yep.
Nice shot from Ian. Start up.
Has he been backhand round the clock largely? Ian, I don't recall many
Yeah, he
forehand
has.
shots from.
Yeah,
Ian
he
Lane.
has, and that's okay. I do say the forehand and the backhand delivery are two different, totally two different deliveries. And so he's really getting some rhythm up on the backhand round the clock, and the rink is playing quite well to give him that confidence. So
it's not restricted, is he, by the how the rink is playing?
and some days it's just weird how you feel a little bit more comfortable with one or the other, either the forehand or the backhand.
Here he goes.
Ronald said, well, you're going to have to be better on that backhand, Ian.
Yeah. The set up, and I was just after you'd spoken about it, Barry, just watching his set up there, his foot placement as he played the forehand, which he played really well for one of his 2 bowls on the last end. So they're both getting there or thereabouts. It's getting to the tight stage. So I wonder if we'll see Ronald change hands here, because he does tend to do it if there's anything in his road.
Oh, well commentated, John.
Switcheroo.
Yeah.
And there we go. There we see more on the backhand. It's more pronounced for Ronald, but where his foot placement is to the extreme left of the mat. Trying to get it to turn late and a lot.
Yeah, he's
Not going to be short anyway.
He's picked his line well here. It should be down the spine, maybe even cross the line slightly, so just cooked it. Big end this one. Ronald wants to be scoring here. You don't want to be chasing a number on the last end to try and force a tie break.
Well, there you go. He's moved over to the forehand.
Get some late turn. He should be good here. Not quite.
3 bowls within Cooey. Be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah.
Oh.
Tight head.
Shit on.
Nice bright shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that you say, oh, putting in a composite team for something or other. And
Yeah, that's my friend's business, Direct Sourcing Solutions, Brian.
oh, is it?
Yeah, Brian Lockyer.
Yep.
So he's loves his bowls, puts back into the game a lot, does Brian.
Oh, how good's this potentially?
Great shot from Ronald.
Sit down here. Lovely bowl.
Is that enough?
Maybe.
Oh, we're going to find out soon. Ian's got the fingers in there and he's looking around, doing the measure.
And then we'll see.
Will he
Can't
suggest
tell us,
something?
Wendy. Oh, he's
look
flipped
at
the bowl.
that for
Yeah.
sportsmanship. How good's that?
Yeah. One to Macau.
Big bowl in the context of this match.
Oh, yeah. So he got nice finish off his last, and it wasn't far away from being in the count. Here we go. Last bowl for Lane. On this, the fourth end. Wanting to just get the same finish as he did with his previous. We'll let you know soon. Or he might knock his own up. He will knock his own up. He gets in for shot.
That is an outstanding bowl on the forehand from Ian Lane. Perfect weight.
Righto, Barry. Now you, of course, would just play on the right-hand side as we look at it. And you'd just tickle the jack back to your own and get three, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you're just trying to trail a jack here, a foot, 18 inches. Don't
Yep.
be too precise with it. You've got to make sure you're definitely there as well. So, you know, you'll take being heavy as well and dragging the jack right back. So the key here, not to underdo it. The last thing you want to do is be underplay it a foot or two and don't actually be there. But you can't. Probably there's enough angle to actually sit the bowl as well. So that's the weight I think you'd be choosing to use. Enough weight just to lift the bowl once as well.
Big bowl here for Ronald. He's down one. Looking to just pull that jack back. Has he gone too wide here? They do finish well from out on there.
Nice speed.
Yeah, yeah.
He did play good
slightly
weight.
wide. Hey, not bad at all. What great weight that was too.
Look
So
at that. Seven
three
bowls.
Yeah, and you look at all those. There's only one bowl that's not there, and that's Ronald's first, I think. So a pretty good head there, but it will be 1 to Ian Lane of Norfolk Island.
4-2 the score, and we're on the fifth end. Absorbing contest between these two players.
So with you, are you doing quite a bit of coaching, Barry?
Yeah, so I went out on my own pretty much about 12 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah, started my own business. So my business name's Blessed.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
bowls,
great.
leadership, excellent skills and training. And yeah, really enjoyed it. Getting out on my own, travelling around, travel anywhere, you name it. And also try and help club with a bit of development work as well. Having worked in the sport as in the admin department, working with Bowls Australia over different initiatives over the years, and yeah, get out and help clubs with their social media or their websites, etc. So I really love it. Yeah.
Oh, so you haven't just restricted yourself to sort of the higher quality bowler. Do you do any introductory stuff?
No, I definitely do. I try to look after all levels and try to help the bowler of the bottom division in the club work their way up, and I believe there's always room for improvement for everyone. So
good stuff.
Team buildings, motivational speaking,
Yep.
and yeah, so it's good, and goal setting, all that stuff. So yeah, try to get out to as many clubs as I can, and great to work with some of the centres here, and I've got some coaching coming up in the new year in Melbourne where I'm working for a region, working after an area. So yeah, love it, and yeah, I've got some big things happening next year, so going to really broaden my horizons a little bit, start providing some equipment, etc. So it's really exciting.
So people how do they contact you? Just do a Google? Is that the
Yeah,
best
just
way to...
barrylester.com.au, and yeah, I'll get back to you, and I'll travel anywhere. So I grew up in a town with 700 people in pretty much the middle of country Victoria, so I'll go anywhere, you name it.
I just saw Ronald overplay his bowl. It's one of the first long 2 metre to 2 metre ends we've seen in a while, and just overcooked a little bit into the ditch with his first one. Ian, 2 okay bowls.
And that's that fear factor we spoke about in that first game, about it when the jack is near the tee, that bowl becomes more vulnerable to be lost into the ditch, and we just saw that with Ronald's first one. How
good is that as a correction? Very well played bowl.
Yeah. Needs to fall.
They're not doing it, are they?
Not quite.
No.
Even Ronald, you can see him leaning as he's walking back then.
Hope for a gust of wind or a truck or someone jumping up and down.
Another backhand. Needs 4 feet on his previous delivery. Not quite.
Yeah, and it's quite nice when the player's on the mat and he knows that blue bowl, and he'd watch it from the other end. That's the one I've got to beat. If I can beat that, I've got 2 because he's already got shot, or according to the marker. On the other hand, so does Ronald. Just needs to beat that last of his. Just got to remember that green out there. It's taking quite a bit. He's watching that intently.
Needs to clear that. Down it comes. We might tip his other one over. Yes, he will. That could be enough.
He made it sit down. There we go. See if we get an indication from Wendy Sutty, the marker, in a second after Ian Lane has done his finger measuring. Do you have any thoughts on finger measuring, Barry?
Yeah, well, one of my idols growing up, Steve Glasson, was really big on it. He was one that, one of the ones that sort of introduced it, and you'd see him do it on TV all the time. And it's a good indicator. It's not gospel, but it's a good reference point, and it does help. Put you in a mindset before you go back to the mat to play your bowl to sort of back yourself in to say you've got it or you don't. But ultimately, we won't really find out until the measure's been done. But yeah, it's a good little guide.
And you asked about the white lines, didn't you?
Yes.
You just see half the back of, he's going to nudge that up. And
he's done this twice. That's an exceptional bowl. Beautiful shot from Ian Lane.
You see the applause from his opponent. Force him to change hands, try and come around on the forehand.
It's one of the hardest bowls in the book, and he's executed it to perfection twice in this match.
Or will he?
What are you thinking, John?
Well, the way he was looking at that forehand to bring it round, and difficult shot, but he's been playing well. Flick the jack across.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think he can definitely trail this jack for 2 or 3 forehand.
Yeah.
He's only really got one result backhand, and that's drawing it for 1. But I think in his position, I think it's worth the risk. Forehand trail, but it looks like it's going to be backhand. He might be looking to play weight here. We saw it earlier.
I was just going to say that's the other option, isn't it?
Just get rid of the bowl. No.
Oh, he's not got off the mat though.
Okay, forehand trail. Shot of the day if he gets this.
I'd love to see it happen.
Staring
What's his
at
expression?
If he clears the front.
Oh, he's under.
He's not going to.
Good weight. Great weight.
I've seen worse efforts this week.
Yeah, perfect weight. Just underneath.
So Lane gets a little promotion to give himself the single there.
One indicated. So the score now 5-2 to Ian Lane, and we're on the 6th end. So he's opened up a 3-shot lead. He'll be feeling okay at the moment about how things are progressing. If he scores on this end, that's essentially the set. Reverse is true for Ronald. He needs to score on the next 2 ends, probably in 2s. So important for both of these players, but different reasons why.
Yeah, 3 ends in a row for Ian Lane.
He's
3
gone
singles.
slightly longer than what they've been playing in this direction. An end. The distance they've been playing, the length they've been playing has suited them both. We've seen some quite compact heads in this direction. The jack's gone probably 1.5 meters further than previously. Maybe Lane's hoping that his opponent will misjudge again and go into the ditch.
Yeah. Ian took the maximum amount of green available to him there on the back end, and you can see they just don't come back to the centre line if you give them too much room to breathe on that ditch side. I've been impressed with these greens, John. If you look, well, all three of them are the same, but the coverage is very even all the way through. There's no bare patches, and we can see when you get near the end by the ditches, it doesn't run off into the ditch. It's nice and level all the way through.
Ian Lane, pretty good weight with his first. Just needs to correct that line. Once they get under, though, they do go away. And see how far this gets. And off it goes. It's gonna hang on for shot, though.
We'll probably see Ronald change hands now.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Forehand trail would be nice for him, though.
Absolutely, yeah. I know he's decided to stay with that hand, which he's been playing very well. Nice target for a nice line there. Just finish inside that last bowl of his opponent. Grabbing a couple here would be great.
Yeah, got to give every bowler a chance here. There's Ronald.
He's done that.
It's pretty good here. That'll do for shot. Well done.
Nice bowl. He's a one bowl low of the jack.
Staying on that backhand too. That's good. He knows the line. Not afraid. He's he's down to that shot anyway. So if he knocks it up a bit further, it's of no consequence. If he gets around it, he might just grab the shot.
Needs to get under.
Would you look at this?
Wow.
Top shot.
Good effort. Not quite, I feel.
So outstanding bowl, and Wendy again indicating it's a draw. Very consistent, Wendy Suddy, with her calls.
She'll listen back to this, Alex, and you'll get a message tomorrow.
I said she was consistent. It's a positive.
Yep. Right, here we go. He had a lovely line last time. Perfect weight. Here we go. Inside that line again. He's got it. He's got the line.
Can he trail the jack?
Yeah.
Can he trail the jack here, Ronald?
If he does, he's got two.
Well, he's drawn it.
He's got the shot anyway. Gee. Ooh, this is a tense penultimate end.
Oh, Wendy making no bones about this one, indicating one to Ronald.
You're in trouble.
And whoa.
Just another shot came into his mind.
Is he going back to check? Is he looking what happens? Is he maybe checking that he's one or two down? Or?
Yeah, big difference between one or two here, I feel, because if he is two, I think he will attack. One down, maybe to try and draw out of trouble, but I think if he's two down, he might.
Big chances, isn't there?
Yeah, both bowls out for two, bowl through bowl, jack in the ditch. But there is a bit of a risk with that one, though. If he does kill it and not stay around, respot, three down on the respot.
Just play backhand. Oh, no, that's...
He's getting angry here.
Yeah, I think so.
Not quite the weight I was expecting to see after the...
Turning over his own, he's going to be wide. I think more direct line might have been the way.
Oh, such a hard bowl to play on New Zealand. Yeah. Well, what a moment we might be about to see here. Ronald in form on his forehand.
Now, if that jack was to come back to just past the white tee,
yep,
he'd be counting four, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. 2016, you called it, John. Karen Murphy, 4 shots to win gold.
Yeah.
Gee. Amazing shot that was.
Oh, well, what a great player. I was so impressed that she got inducted to the Australian Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's amazing. Great for the game. Great for Karen. Much deserved. Let's see if Ronald can live up to those standards. Trail the jack, 18 inches, 2 feet for 4 shots here. It's on its way.
Is it close?
He's Definitely
Oh,
arriving.
what a great weight.
Oh,
He's played us.
what a ball!
That's too far.
No,
or
no,
not
it's
too far.
It's not too far. It's
Gee.
absolutely
Oh, what a great
outstanding.
shot.
Shot of the day.
Out of nowhere, Ronald has just gone bang, 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 bang. I'll take 4, 6-5 up as we go into the last end. That's words fail me.
Yeah.
Well, at my clinics, I talk about playing bowls in big moments, and I use the footage of Karen Murphy, World Bowls 216. Sorry, Karen.
We'll get it to you.
Ronald,
Oh.
Ronald, you're my new example in my new clinics.
So let's see that again, please. That was fabulous. So it just needed to be perfect weight. He couldn't go too hard at it. He just dragged it back enough to take that closest shot of Lane's out of contention, and a superb 4 for the man from Macau.
Literally perfect.
And as the adrenaline's up,
Yes,
what happens?
he puts the jack in the ditch.
Absolutely. Well, our adrenaline's up in the commentary box.
Yeah.
You wonder how Ronald's heart's going at the moment, but that's what happens.
Oh,
We've
So
seen that a couple of times today.
Might be your little bit coaching tip to him when you talk to him later on, Barry. Just take time after you've played a bomb and you're going to throw the jack down. Just take time.
that's up there with the best bowl we've seen this entire week.
Yes.
From the man who hails from Macau. I have like 2 bowling clubs, travelled to the other side of the world, bottom of the ladder, and has pulled out some absolute magic here at the World Champion of Champions Singles.
Well, for me, that's the first time today from this morning in this game that someone's had 4 effective bowls in an end. So, Ronald, mate, I reckon we speak to Alex and we send you this by Dropbox or however he wants to do it, and send you that footage, mate. Show it to your family, show it to your friends. Whatever happens this week, mate.
Good as it gets.
That's what it's all about.
And he won't be too worried about the length of jack now. That's gone down towards the 2 metre, 1.5 metres short of that. He's just got to recall that this side that he's playing, this hand, coming in this direction, needed that bit of green, and he was sadly lacking in the previous end in this direction. But he's remembered it. That's good. And he comes with a delightful weight, and he now has
It's a good
the
bowl.
shot, and we need Lane knows he's got to put at least 1 inside that. So a draw in this is in Lane's favour. He would win the game. A win in this end, if Chi Hong Wong or Ronald scores here, then that goes to a tiebreaker.
His confidence has got to be sky high.
Oh, it's just, yeah.
I wonder if his heart rate's settled down yet.
Oh, my blood pressure's gone up. Oh, did you see it, John? It was just, words fail me. But
I'm
he has
just
to
so
focus
glad he
on the
played it
set
because
now.
we all drew it up in the commentary box.
Yeah.
And he did the hard bit, executing it.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to be short here. He doesn't want to knock his own out.
Oh,
If he
inside
stays,
half
he's all right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's gone very well for a bowl that was overplayed.
and a fist pump. So the adrenaline's definitely up.
He's got the 2 metre mark.
Alrighty. Ian Lane just needs 1 to win the match.
Needs it to hold its line.
Yeah, that's a tight line he's got there.
See how far it runs away. Should just keep going, and it has. Well, Ronald, what are you going to do? Looks like a chopping and changing again. Right.
He's done this, played this hand before. Remember, he played one that went really wide and short, and he just about fell over with annoyance. But he's up to it, holding calm.
Good line.
Yeah, holding 2 shots now.
Well played.
Little fist pump again. Ronald's thinking, I've got you. Like he can smell the tiebreak, I feel.
No matter what happens here, I'm going to go up to Ronald afterwards and say, and you weren't comfortable about playing on the TV rink.
Gave us a great moment.
Yeah.
This looks the goods for me.
Yeah, it's a good line from him. It's that weight.
He likes it, Ian Lane.
Yeah. Yeah, done it. He's done it. So 6-all we look at now. And so for Ronald, it's going to have to be another outstanding bowl. Yeah, I don't think we need to lip read him. He might just be saying, well, the way he played that one game the other way, he's likely to grab the jack here and bring it back for 3.
Yeah, you can see definitely a little bit nervous there. And he knows after what he saw last end.
And it was a forehand shot he played last hand. He's got no weaknesses with either hand. He knows that jack or the shot will be enough for him. So sitting either of those.
Yeah, jack in the ditch for 3.
Sit the shot for the single. That's all he needs, isn't he? Just needs to score on this end or
take the bowl out.
Yep.
Any score here. Must score though, or we'll be shaking hands.
Will that bowl of Ian Lane stay back there by the figure 1, the number 1, or will he have to come back to the mat and play it? It all is down to this bowl from Ronald. He's going it. He's playing with weight. It looks pretty good. Yes!
Oh, what a bowl.
Saves game.
He's got the 2 metre mark covered. He's got 2 shots there at at least one anyway. And we see it doesn't matter. It's the one that he's worried about. And I think we'll see Lane say something to Ronald. Well, we didn't, but I'm sure he said good shot.
Just a clap there. Great sportsmanship.
Yeah.
I think Ian, he has to take this bowl out here.
That was all. I was going to say we should have a look at that, but I've got to wait for this shot here. That's what we see. Ian Lane down at the mat sees it differently, but he's been down here to have a look. He's now got to beat that shot.
Backhand, straight at it. Remove the bowl to win the game. It's on its way.
And he's running. It's well lined. Or is he going to get some
He's
help?
got it.
He has got it. The finest of edges. And that's a great shot under pressure. He's now just exhaled for the first time in 15 seconds. And it is enough to bring that second set to level scores at 6-all. And Ian Lane, having won the first 7-6, is the winner of this game. A fantastic match between 2 players who were ranked quite low down in their division, but they've given us something great to talk about here today. Some wonderful shots from both these players, and it is Lane of Norfolk Island who beats Chi Hong Wong of Macau, China, winning the first set, drawing the second. We've got some highlights for you, and then we'll be back with our third match of the day.